rico el mambo, mambo, qué rico,
During the whole semi-final anyway, but yeah, there were some ugly scenes after that semi-final, but again, back to these two teams, I think it's great that they're in the final. Uruguay, for me, are clear favourites in this game. They're the team that have taken great form, got better as the tournaments progressed, and with these two players up front, Forlan and Suarez, just I think it's going to be very hard to beat them.
Okay, let's now cross to the anthems ahead of kickoff in Buenos Aires.
Saludarán a los integrantes de las selecciones de Uruguay y Paraguay. Posteriormente se escucharán los sones del himno de la República del Paraguay. Finalmente, seguidamente escucharemos las estrofas del himno nacional de la República del Paraguay.
continuación, el himno nacional de Uruguay.
Stirring anthems for both countries, and Uruguay have made one change, guys. Diego Perez comes back from suspension. Walter Gargano drops to the bench, and I suppose their attacking players and their width on the pitch are a real danger, isn't it?
Yeah, we've spoken at length about the two up front. Forlan Suarez really have been the key players. Perez was sent off against Argentina. Now obviously comes straight back into the squad, but the two up front really are going to be the killers.
And Gerardo Martino's made 4 changes. Foz, Pablo Zeballos, playing his 5th cap partners. Helder Valdez up front, so no Lucas Barrios, no Rocco Santa Cruz. Maceiros comes in, Vera and Caceres as well. So 4 changes. He doesn't mind a change, does he?
No, he doesn't. Barrios out is the big one. Santa Cruz, of course, has been injured, particularly since the semi-final. The difference between the two lineups is Uruguay are absolutely full strength, and Paraguay struggling a little bit in attack. A lot of pressure now on Valdez. I think the difference for me between the two is it's going to be difficult for Paraguay to deal with the attack of Uruguay, whereas on the other end I expect Lugano and Coates to be reasonably comfortable for a lot of this game against the attack of Paraguay. So the real question mark around the game is, can the Paraguayan defence, including this brilliant keeper, keep out Luis Suarez and Diego Forlan?
And 2 brilliant performances from Muslera and Justo Villa, the 2 respective keepers. There's Villa with Diego Lugano, who's a fantastic player in the air, and we know what a great defender he is as well. But what a tournament for goalkeepers.
Well, Muslera against Argentina and Villa against Brazil was just quite amazing to see how many saves they've made. But again, I think that with these 2 lineups, it's Uruguay. They must see that this is a fantastic opportunity for them to become record holders. 15th Copa, they've played the most Copa Americas. They've won the most with Brazil, is it? Or Argentina. So they could go outright here. And again, for such a small nation to be going for this kind of record is a brilliant scenario.
I think the last time they held that record was in '87 with the Francescoli team, who was the skipper then. Of course, the Prince is one of South America's all-time greatest ever players. I understand he's in the ground watching Uruguay. And I agree with you, this is a game where they feel as a nation that there's so much, the prize is huge here. For the first time for nearly 20 years to go back at the head of all of South American nations as the champion nation, this is a very, very big game for Uruguay this one.
Both captains before a message against racism, saying no to racism, a great message for all the fans, and the fans have supported the Copa superbly, albeit that Argentina are out of the tournament. First time for a long time, no Argentina or Brazil in the final.
Of course, both of these nations have a diaspora population here in Argentina anyway, and in fact there's something around 600,000 Uruguayans in Buenos Aires alone. So you knew that was going to be sold out, even if no local Argentines are there. Between Paraguayans and Uruguayans living in Argentina, this game is absolutely huge for those people to support their own nation.
In a word, guys, your tip for the final?
Uruguay definitely favourites for me. Having seen how Paraguay have got to the final, I wouldn't put anything past them.
Oh, I see Suarez scoring a goal in this game. I think it's going to be difficult for Paraguay to keep him out. And given that, the real question is whether they can score at the other end.
OK, all's in readiness at the El Monumental Stadium. There's Diego Forlan, one of the players of the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa. Let's cross to our commentators now for the final, Tony Jones and Kevin Gallagher.
Were third in Group B. They were the second best of the third place finishers. Such is the composition of the Copa America. It means that the group winners, the second place teams in the three groups, go through to the quarterfinals, plus two of the teams who finish in third place. Those two teams were Peru and Paraguay. The tournament has been shown in up to 200 countries. 50 more are taking the pictures live on the internet as well. Uruguay itching to get going. I'm entirely sure that Salve Fagundes can see the television official, who's now standing with the fourth official, to tell us that we're ready to get underway. We will be getting underway because we're the best part of 4 minutes late. So the end is within sight. The final of the Copa America of 2011. A Copa of shocks and surprises. Who would have thought when the competition began on the 1st of July with Argentina surprisingly drawing in La Plata after the opening ceremony with Bolivia that we would have a final such as this, Uruguay against Paraguay. No doubt that the hosts were the big favourites. What about Brazil, winners of 4 of the last 5 tournaments? Beaten in the quarterfinals at La Plata. A chance for Christian Riveros to get forward. It's intriguing, Kevin, isn't it, that Paraguay have made these changes here, 4 changes. One has been forced upon them because Jonathan Satana is suspended.
When you look at it, you know, their side, the strongest side, down the left-hand side at the start of the campaign, I thought was outstanding. Torres and Estegaribia. And unfortunately, Torres gets a little injury. Estegaribia has lost a little bit of form, and they've changed the left-hand side.
Hey, Suarez. It's still with Suarez, and it's into the side netting. It will be a corner, this, to Uruguay. There's a problem here for Justo Villa. The goalkeeper has been so prominent for Paraguay during the course of the tournament. He did pick up an injury in the semi-final, and this will be a worry.
Well, he's coming out, you know, he's doing what he has to spread his body very, very well, because Suarez is, you know, he's tenacious in there. It's early start to the game. I just think it's the ball's just caught him under the ribs. He's just a little bit winded. He's back up, ready to go.
Villa is okay. Coates has gone forward with Lugano. It's Lugano! Ball has stayed out, but was there a handball in there as well? First corner kick on the first moment of controversy. It's a splendid header by Lugano, but here come Paraguay now, and it's Diego Forlan who's back there to ensure that there's no further threat from Ceballos. What a start.
This is brilliant, isn't it? You know, I didn't think, I mean, most of the games we've had have been very slow out the traps, then they get going in the second 45 minutes, but this is how a final should be played. You know, both teams going at it, both teams trying out the nerves to see how other players are coping at the minute, and we've had 2 chances and possibly a penalty claim for Uruguay.
Now there's a chance for everybody to catch their breath, and maybe a chance for us to have a look again at that header from the Uruguayan skipper, Diego Lugano. It was a decent save, but oh yes, certainly a handball in there, was it, by Ortigoza?
Yeah, definitely. When you watch it come in, I mean, Lugano's a handful in there. He gets a free header, but Coach is a big lad, goes in. Ortigoza's hands come up in the air to block it clearly. Obviously, there's a lot of bodies in there. The assistant can't see it, the referee can't see it, and Paraguay live on a little bit of luck.
Suarez again, tangling there with Diego Veron. Another corner to Uruguay. What can they produce here?
Paraguay have got to pick up, because Lugano is a massive danger for them. He has been all through the competition, but they've also got the height of Coates. Caceres comes up the park as well, so they have height in there, but it's on man marking that they do. They've got to be very tight with them and not let these players get out of their sights.
It's Paulo da Silva who's looking after Diego Lugano. See them there right on the edge of the penalty area. Lugano has made his move. And this time the header is coming from Caceres, which has flown right across the face of goal.
Justo Vila's having a word with the defenders, because he can't believe we're almost getting 2 free headers at the ball now. Lugano's had one, Caceres having the other one. He's just having a go at the defenders. Got to mark them a little bit tighter.
Xavier Fagundes, the Brazilian referee in charge of this one, has already had a couple of quiet words with both Lugano and da Silva. Forlan is always across to take the corner kick. Silva and Lugano both prepared to continue their argument. Caceres in by Forlan. There's a chance now for Alvaro Pereira to get back on the pitch after receiving some early attention.
Just trying to get back on for the corner, but that's classed as an advantage then, isn't it, when he goes off the pitch for a little bit of treatment, but he's back on now. Back to full strength.
Alvaro Pereira took a blow to the face. Any surprise that Ortigoza was available for Paraguay for the final. He was involved in the brawl which took place after the goalless draw against Venezuela in the semi-final. The game that Paraguay won 5-3 in a penalty shootout. Caceres with a throw. Huge throw by Martin Caceres.
But this is a Lugano header again. You get a look, there's the hands, 2 hands up. Even if he takes his hands away, I think it would hit Ortigoza in the chest, but he's definitely got his hands in the air. There you go. Only just the 2 of them as well. Nearly caught it.
Catches goalkeeper Justo Vila would have been pleased with. Here is Ortigoza. Suarez on his way, getting away from da Silva, almost getting away from Veron. That's another corner to Uruguay.
Well, he knows he's got the pace now of da Silva, Suarez, and he'll move in and about him. He'll only need another yard or 2. Da Silva just scrambling down. Veron, I think, has been very consistent for Paraguay at the back. He's played right back, he's played for a left centre defender, coming in there and partnering him, covering him up.
Threat is there again from Coates and Lugano. In by Forlan, punched away confidently by Vila. Paraguay goalkeeper and skipper at his 5th Copa America. Endured disappointment at the World Cup finals in 2006 when he was injured after only a handful of minutes against England. Knocked away by Marecos. Came on as a substitute in the quarter-final against Brazil. Torres unavailable to Paraguay, the left-sided defender who likes to get forward and join the attack, and Nestor Gariba has been left out as well by Gerardo Martino.
I must admit, I was very pleasantly surprised at that he left Nestor Gariba out.
Helped away by Enrique Vera, who is available after injury. This time it was Lugano who was doing the pushing. No, he was claiming that he was held.
Well, his jersey's certainly getting held by De Silva. Then there's a little nudge, but no, he's very combative, Lugano, when he goes up front for set pieces. You know, and he must be wondering what he has to do, because he's been up there for the last 6 minutes.
Tabarez on the left there, biting his nails. El Maestro, second spell in charge of Uruguay. This interruption is helping Paraguay. Just gives everybody an opportunity to calm down and collect their thoughts again.
Just need a little bit of a breather, don't they? I mean, they started really well, then all of a sudden Uruguay came at them, had the chances, the possible penalty claim, all within the space of 5 minutes. So we just needed to calm down a little bit and rethink.
It's risky by Veron. Zeballos. Vera. Zeballos once more. Taking on Coates, who's been really accomplished at the back for Uruguay, the young defender from Nacional, champions in Uruguay, the 20-year-old.
I must admit, I think he's played beyond his years. You know, he's came into the side. Vitorino played the first game. Ever since that, Coates has been the first choice alongside Lugano. And I think the experience of Lugano, you know, has been helping the young lad.
In by Zeballos. Ortigosa deceived by the bounce. Rios looking for Forlan. Enrique Vera. 16 is Riveros.
Again, you know, it doesn't matter how many times we show it, does it? I mean, it's as clear as day. Different every angle. Ortigosa, I mean, he does fantastically well to get his body in front of it and clear all the lines. There's a definite handball in there.
Zeballos offside. There's a problem here for Ivan Pires. New defender who's got his chance because of the injury to Aureliano Torres.
That's the offside decision there. Zeballos, half a foot offside. Nearly very, very close, but this is a collision. He just comes down, and it's just the foot of Suarez that stands on Perez.
Navarro Gonzalez. Now by Veron. Suarez! Uruguay in front through Luis Suarez. What a tournament he is having. 2 in the semi-final against Peru to bring Uruguay to Buenos Aires. And now he's got a slice of luck and he's put Uruguay in front. Shot off the inside of the post. Villa beaten and Uruguay ahead.
Well, I must admit, I don't think this is the best of competitions, but when you want a striker to come good, semi-finals and finals, and Suarez does, when he comes in, maybe he rides a little bit of luck, a little deflection, nothing the goalkeeper can do about it. He's hit the target, and if you hit the target, there's a possibility it'll go in. It's a start that Uruguay have pressed for, and I think have deserved at the minute.
Four goals now in the competition for Luis Suarez. Uruguay looking to win the Copa. He's looking to finish as the top goal scorer as well. Paulo Guerrero of Peru has got 5, a hat-trick against Venezuela in the third-place fixture on Saturday evening in La Plata. Tavares, who said that he's fed up of being reminded that Uruguay haven't won a World Cup since 1950. They've enjoyed success in the Copa over the years, but this really is essentially the squad which he took to South Africa. They came so close back in 2010 to reach the semi-finals. And maybe they've benefited from that during this Copa, because you look at Argentina and you look at Brazil and the changes they've made, they're clearly building for 2014. But Tavares suggesting that this was an opportunity to give the likes of Forlan their swan song, Lugano even for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know what I mean? They had a great World Cup. You keep the gist of the squad. A lot of managers have come into this competition using it as a build-up for the next World Cup, whereas Uruguay have continued where they left off from the 2010 World Cup. And as you see it, it's benefited from it. The squad of players know each other. And I wouldn't say there's been 2 or 3 players played exceptionally well, but they play well as a team together, and that's where their consistency's been.
Suarez. Forlan, picked down by Diego Perez. Back in the centre of midfield after serving his 1-game suspension. Rios, an ever-present here as he was at the World Cup finals. Back to safety by Marecos. Picked up again by Lugano. Suarez. Maxi Pereira. Now Forlan. Edo Valdez. Taking on Diego Perez and getting beyond him. Ceballos waits. Victor Caceres. In by Vera. Met by Edo Valdez.
That goes down as a chance. It's a great ball from Vera. You know, it's a diagonal pass causing problems for the defenders over the top of Maxi Pereira. We know how good he is going forward, but he's just been questioned a little bit defensively.
That's Edo Valdez, who was one of the first to hold his hands up after Paraguay defeated Brazil in that penalty shootout in La Plata, that amazing penalty shootout. A 2-0 success after a 0-0 draw. Problems with the penalty spot on a pitch that had been relayed just before the tournament began. He admitted that Paraguay weren't at their best. How often do you see a team progress to the semi-finals of a major competition without managing a single shot on target in the entire game? It's 90 minutes and 30 minutes extra time.
I think at one stage as well, when we seen that penalty spot, we didn't realise there were going to be any goals in the penalties either, the way it was going.
Has been featured in a number of newspaper cartoons in Brazil over the last few days, suggesting that the ball he used for his penalty kick has been picked up by a satellite in outer space. Vera. Knocked away by Lugano. Suarez. Managed to get away from Victor Caceres, not quite, and that is a yellow card.
It's just a little tangle of legs. Go in there, gets his legs tangled, Suarez goes down, has a complaint, he gets Caceres booked, but it was a little bit of aftermath in that as well from Ortigoza, because Ortigoza's fired the ball towards Suarez. So there's a little bit of fire in there, determination, the occasion.
Ortigoza in possession. Putting Da Silva under pressure. Come to understand that Nestor Ortigoza won't be too far away from an argument. Extraordinary scenes after the semi-final against Venezuela. Cesar Frias, the Venezuelan coach, saying that his players were being taunted by Paraguay afterwards. Suarez. Alvaro Gonzalez. Muscle his way beyond Maricos.
This is Suarez goal. The deflection takes it completely away from Justo Villa. There's nothing he can do about it. He's planted his feet. He's ready to go down low to the left as he's thinking the shot comes in. But it's a big deflection of Dario Veron that takes it to the opposite side. And the goalkeeper can do nothing about it.
Suarez is striker now playing in England with Liverpool, having joined them for €26 million back in the January transfer window. Former player of the year in the Netherlands and top scorer in the Eredivisie. His last full season. Ortegoza has left his mark there on Alvaro Pereira. No further action thought necessary.
Well, we know Ortegoza, what he's capable of doing, but that's a stamp. You know, he's just caught the side of Pereira, but he's stamping down the way, and it's not nice. Luis Suarez is having a word in the referee's ear, or a shout in the referee's ear, and he'll have to be careful as well, because, you know, he likes a little moan up, Luis Suarez.
Suarez was actually sent off at his international debut for Uruguay against Colombia. Uruguay have been invited to put the ball out of play, a request that they've so far ignored. Suarez, I think, is being told that he's going to be ushered off the pitch before he can come back on. And he was suggesting there that there might have been the use of an elbow as well by Ivan Perez, maybe.
Yeah, it's heating up in a minute. A lot of bodies walking about, talking to each other, having words, trying to settle things down. Yeah, there's a little bit after, isn't there?
Yes, Enrique Vera is just caught him.
Yeah. Vera just comes across with the shoulder. Very lucky it wasn't the elbow.
Order is restored. 20 minutes played in Buenos Aires. Uruguay 1, Paraguay 0. Luis Suarez putting Uruguay in front after they'd had a penalty appeal turned down. Header from Diego Lugano, which was well saved by Justo Villa, but then bundled away by the arms of Néstor Ortegoza. Veron. Looking for Zeballos, who's got his first start in the Copa of 2011 in the final.
It's a nice game to get a start as well, isn't it? Sit on the bench, warm on the bench. 4 or 5 games later, and then there you go.
Games there of Sepp Blatter, the FIFA president, alongside Nicolas Leos, the Paraguayan, who's in president of CONMEBOL, the Confederation in South America. And that is Adrian Correa, third in line on the bench for Paraguay, with the ban for Gerardo Martino, the Argentine who is in charge, his second suspension of the tournament, and also Jorge Batasso, who was issued with a suspension after he was sent away from the bench in that semi-final. As they finished the quarter-final against Brazil with 10 on the pitch, Antonin Alcaraz was sent off alongside Lucas Leiva.
Yeah, well, the discipline the last few games is gone, and if the discipline goes on the sidelines from the manager and from the assistant manager, then you can't expect anything else but the players to react in the same manner as they did do.
Didn't concede a goal, however. 4 hours of football, extra time needed in both the quarter-final and the semi-final.
Great turn by Suarez. You know, he's right on the line. He just gets caught. Maricos just gets very close. He actually catches Maricos out. He's not expecting him to turn so tightly to the line. It's certainly been a great opening 20 minutes. very lively, both sides.
This is a relative newcomer to the Paraguayan squad, featured in only one of the World Cup qualifiers. Victor Caceres. Caceres, showing that he's not feeling any of the effects of the collision with Enrique Vera. Rios. Now Forlan. On again by Alvaro Pereira. Rescue by Paulo de Silva. Lunge from Diego Perez. Sent off for 2 yellow cards against Argentina in the quarter-final. Segundo, Salvia Fagundes, rather, the referee just reaching for his card then. He has now produced it.
Can't believe it, can he? You know, he's sliding into the tackle. Well, not even into the man, he's sliding in to block the pass. You know, it's a good decision. He doesn't have to tackle the player. But yet, you know, sometimes you have a reputation, and it looks like Diego Perez has a reputation now.
I think we both agreed in the quarter-final against Argentina. He was fortunate to stay on the pitch after a dreadful challenge on Javier Mascherano early on. Then he was able to score to put Uruguay in front. He picked up 2 yellow cards in the first half, and if you pick out one of the defensive performances of the tournament, Uruguay's in that one against Argentina was outstanding.
It certainly was that.
Against Lionel Messi, and Higuain had got the equaliser for Argentina. Well, then to lose in a penalty shootout 5-4. Yellow now for Martin Caceres. Well, so it was on.
He's coming round the side. He knows. Vera collided with him with the shoulder, isn't it? There's always going to be something between them. Watch that space. And there's only a matter of, what, 3 or 4 minutes between them. And Caceres now, he can't make another tackle on Vera.
Which is always marked with disappearing spray. Zaballos with the free kick. Knocked away by Diego Perez. Then Diego Forlan. Zaballos is an interesting character. He was left out of the World Cup squad, even though he was the top scorer in the domestic league with 24 goals. And he's continued that form in 2011 as well. Short of attacking options. Lucas Barrios out of form. Roque Santa Cruz injured. Fernando Martino, the coach, also decided to overlook Oscar Cardozo of Benfica, and Salvador Cabañas, who was top scorer in World Cup qualifying, was seriously injured in an incident in a Mexico bar in January of last year. Backing into Lugano. The way by Veron. Maxi Pereira. Alvaro Gonzalez. feeling that he should have had the free kick. Referee thought otherwise. Maxi Pereira again. Won back by Mareikos. Lugano. Victor Caceres. Orti goes up. Diego Perez, who's gone down in a heap, but is quickly back on his feet to get back at Nestor Ortigoza. Knocked on by Edo Valdez. Ortigoza again. Expecting a lot of Enrique Vera. Instructions will be passed through to the Paraguayan players, given that the coach isn't there and neither is his number 2. I think they're one short from the kit man now.
They're running out of staff, isn't it? Normally have about 10 staff, international level people there, doctor, physiotherapists, your assistant manager, your first team coach and your assistant coaches. But notes will be getting passed down. But most of the work's done, possibly in the hotel last night. And a little bit today in the refreshing in the dressing room.
Caution there for Maxi Pereira. Hard count is going up. Martin Caceres, Maxi Pereira now. Diego Perez, all yellow carded for Uruguay. We haven't played half an hour yet. Victor Caceres, of course, for Paraguay as well.
As you go to one of those finals that you're not going to end up with 11 men on the park. Because the players are going to have to be very, very careful. It has been a very, very fiery opening 30 minutes, you know.
Dari Varane. Forlan. Diego Perez. Gonzalez was in the advanced position and was out-jumped by Paulo da Silva. Riveros. Ortigoza. Vera. Won back only momentarily by Alvaro Gonzalez. Plays for Lazio in Italy, as does Uruguay's goalkeeper Fernando Muslera, who's had absolutely nothing to do in this first half.
It's not surprising with the way the game started. I expected Paraguay to be sitting, trying to counter-attack. They started reasonably well. They had a goal, but it woke Uruguay up. And again, Luis Suarez can't believe he's not getting a free kick. He's having a motor. You've seen it in the other game in the semi-final. He'll end up getting a yellow card for it.
Miguel Riveros. Edo Valdez. Excellent defending by Maxi Pereira. We spoke about his ability to get forward to support the Uruguayan attack whenever he gets the chance to advance, but then he showed his worth in his own penalty area. Forlan now. Diego Forlan denied by Vila.
It's not his tournament, is it? On the goal scoring stakes. He's had the chances and he makes a great run. The change of pace gets him into the area, but you know, he's hitting straight at the legs of Vila. I thought maybe he'd try and lift it over the top of him.
It's a competition that hasn't been particularly kind to Diego Forlan over the years. It's the 18th time that Forlan has featured in the competition, and for someone who had an impressive goal-scoring record earlier in his international career, he's still only managed 4 goals.
It's amazing, isn't it? But you know what you can't take away from Diego Forlan is the work rate he puts in for the team. You know, if you look at that side of it, what he does for the team, corners, free kicks, link-up play, he starts a lot of the play, a lot of the forward play. But the unfortunate thing is, in this competition, when he gets into positions, he's not been putting his chances away.
Lugano's in there. Mara Gonzalez. Diego Perez. Really good season in Portugal with Porto, winners of the Championship and also the Europa League. Ortigoza. Christian Riveros. Struggled to make any impression in his first season in England with Sunderland. He's caught there by Luis Suarez. He was caught again there by Navarro Pereira.
Well, if the Suarez tackle didn't hurt him, that one certainly did. He tried to recover from Suarez standing on the top of his foot and his ankle. Pereira just doubling it up.
Joined that time in England at Sunderland by Paulo da Silva, who's since moved on to Zaragoza, somebody who didn't settle in the northeast of England. Da Silva, just 6 months. Ortigoza. And again by Vera. Pires. Throughout the tournament has shown his adaptability, filling in either as a left back or here as a right back. Can't relax just yet.
Not yet. Not yet. I don't know how many times have we seen it? Teams go 2 goals up in an advantage and lose that advantage and end up drawing the game.
Similar with this tournament. Edo Valdez has done well. Famously in the group stages when Paraguay had a 3-1 lead against Venezuela and it finished 3-3.
Yeah, that was a great ending to the game, that one. Goalkeepers coming up out the box. Highly entertaining.
Renny Vega, wasn't it, who got upfield and obliged with the assist to make it 3-3.
Yeah, one of the smallest goalkeepers in the competition as well.
Just under 6 foot tall. Away from Forlan is Suarez. Getting beyond Varane. Side netting this time. And you can see there that the laze has been shone in the eyes of Luis Suarez, which has been one downside of the tournament. It's usually the goalkeepers who get it, but the target here is Luis Suarez.
But it was great skill. You know, he's looking for it. He just manages to squeeze it through the legs of Varane to get himself into a shooting position, but you'll be disappointed with that finish. You've got to get it across the goalkeeper.
Suarez on his way yet again. And just managing to get the ball in play. Held up here by Varane. Maxi Pereira. Forlan! Scored a similar style of goal at the World Cup finals, I seem to remember. One that thudded into the ground and beat the goalkeeper. This time, Villa was equal to it.
Yeah, I think in that circumstance you want Villa to be at the 6-yard box, and I think then it might bounce over his head, but he's kicked it straight into the ground right in front of him and gives Villa a chance to get back onto his line. As you said, that was a fantastic goal in the World Cup he scored as well.
32 now, Diego Forlan. There's a lot of talk that he might return to South America. He did start his career in Argentina, but there has been a lot of speculation that he may decide to end his playing days in Brazil. Best player at the World Cup finals in 2010, twice. Win with the Golden Shoe as the top goal scorer in Europe.
It's amazing. Around Europe he's been absolutely fantastic, but when he went to his spell at Manchester United, I think everybody thought they've got a fantastic player here, which it is, but he just never produced, did he? But in the European circuit he's been absolutely fantastic.
Did it at Villarreal, he did again at Atletico Madrid. Away by Elvis Marecos. Lugano. Suarez again taking on Veron. Uruguay have the corner.
I was wondering if he's feeling the pace a little bit now.
It was a blistering start by Uruguay, wasn't it?
Straight out the traps, trap door open. They were that fast out of it in Paraguay. To be fair, didn't really know what was coming at them. We'll see if their defensive marking's getting any better.
Vara Pereira and Martin Caceres have joined Lugano and Coates. Suarez almost on the goal line. Maxi Pereira. Yeah, they managed one international goal. That was in the semi-final of the World Cup against the Netherlands. A consolation really for Uruguay. They were trailing 3-1. It was deep into stoppage time at the end of the game.
It's surprising because of the amount of forward work that he does down that right-hand side. Occasionally you find him on the outside or the inside left position when he's just made a run. Sent off to clean his leg.
Victor Caceres. Marecos. Da Silva. Last 5 minutes of what has been an intriguing first half. Helped away by Coates. Uruguay feeling that they should have had a penalty after a header from Lugano was bundled away by Nestor Ortegoza. Then Uruguay going in front, a shot from Luis Suarez which struck Yari Veron on the inside of a post. Tournament of surprises. Who's provided the biggest shot? Perhaps Venezuela drawing with Brazil, Bolivia drawing with Argentina. The fact that neither of those teams has been able to make it through to the last four. Here's Rios. Forlan! Magnificent from Diego Forlan. Is there any way back for Paraguay now? Doesn't wear the captain's armband, but is the leader in so many ways. And just before half-time, just maybe that's the goal that ensures that Uruguay emerge as champions.
Well, all the chances he's had, Paraguay again get caught out. Ortegoza is looking very slow in the midfield, sluggish, gets caught out, and it just sets Forlan away. Well, Rios, we know, likes to bite at his toes, but Forlan's got one thing in his mind, he's hit the target this time, keep it on target. He does it with ease. That shows you to the manager, doesn't it, what it means to him.
What it means to Diego Forlan as well. Uruguay's record appearance maker. 82nd time that he's featured for his country. It's taken him during the course of this tournament beyond the record previously held by Rodolfo Rodriguez, the goalkeeper from the 1970s and 1980s. A 30th international goal. performance at the World Cup in 2002. Then a relative newcomer on the international scene. Marcos. Now Suarez. Perez. But on steps in. The ball is bobbled off the shins of Suarez to Diego Perez. That'll be a corner, surely, won't it? Yes. Fantastic endeavour by Diego Perez.
He's questioning the decision, but the ball's got to fully go over the line, as it would do if it was in between the white sticks that he's guarding.
Who wants it most? I don't think there's any question about that now.
Tennis, have a look at Hawkeye, and it would tell you it's in.
Change of approach by Forlan. Lugano up. Helped away by Da Silva. Suarez. Alvaro Gonzalez. It's gone behind of Marcos. And Paraguay here will do well to get in at half-time. 2 goals down. They're creaking.
They need to get in, they need to get in. The manager is going to have a word with them. You know, obviously the leadership is not on the bench there. They can't get anything across to the players. And maybe the aftermatch of the semi-finals, the tiring games, catching up with them now.
In by Forlan. Helped away by Heido Valdez. Here's Perez. Forlan again. Tavares, the Uruguayan coach, couldn't have hoped for much better than this. 2 extra minutes minimum at the end of the first half. One back by Suarez. Maxi Pereira.
That's a catch out there into Ortegoza's feet. Rios on him in a flash. And you know that you don't get much time in that midfield. No, either way, if it was going to Rios, I'm sure Ortegoza would have done the exact same thing, went in there to try and nick it off his toe. But it's a great finish, you know, there's only one thing in his mind. Try and keep it low and hit the target.
His international rival back in 2002. It was a game against Senegal, wasn't it? The World Cup when they were trailing 3-0, I think. Uruguay, and he popped up with a goal and they drew 3-3. With the Caceres. Ortegoza. Dispossessed again by Rios. Forlan, always playing with his head up. Suarez this time to take advantage of a terrific crossfield pass. Maxi Pereira. Forlan again unmarked. Alvaro Pereira. Suarez. Angle wasn't quite right for him.
He was unlucky. But what a run from Maxi Pereira. You know, there's nothing really on, and he sacrifices himself out from the right back position, just drives in at the heart of the defence to get a little 1-2, and eventually gets it to Pereira. You know, little movement like that often makes chances.
It has been a fabulous first half for Oscar Tabarez and for Uruguay. His second spell in charge. He glances down at the watch. Maybe now Uruguay just 45 minutes from a record-breaking 15th win in the Copa America. They thought they should have had a penalty early on when a header from Diego Lugano came back and seemed to be scrambled away by the hands of Nestor Ortigoza, but there was no stopping Uruguay when Luis Suarez was able to put them ahead, albeit with the help of a deflection off Dario Veron on the inside of a post. Uruguay dominant throughout the opening half. They got a second goal just before the interval as well through Diego Forlan. It's looking good for the Celeste in the Monumental in Buenos Aires, but at half-time it's Uruguay 2, Paraguay 0.
Great consummation of what's been a tremendous
He was man
career.
of the tournament, wasn't he,
Yeah.
in the World Cup? And his form here has been very good. No, he hasn't been scoring the goals, but he's been setting up, creating, he's been doing everything but. And you saw when he scored that goal that his teammates just coming around. You can see how he's a very loved player in that side and very important. And it's good that he's got the goal. But Suarez, for me, in the first half was the key man, and he did all the damage.
There's Diego Lugano, the captain of Uruguay. He leads from the front, whether it is defending or from the set pieces, a magnificent player. And Forlan and Rios, perhaps early celebrations for them, because Uruguay sit on a 2-0 lead. It's back to our commentators in Buenos Aires now, Tony Jones and Kevin Gallagher.
No changes by either team at half-time. It's probably the most comfortable 45 minutes that Fernando Muslera, the Uruguayan goalkeeper, has had. Kevin Gallagher's just pointed out to me there's a price tag just on Diego Lugano's neck.
Straight out the wrap-up.
There he is again, start of the second half. Second half underway in Buenos Aires. Can Paraguay do here what Venezuela did to them in the group stages? In Group B, Venezuela trailing by 3-1 with less than 5 minutes to go, managing to emerge with a point from a 3-3 draw. No wonder Paraguay said afterwards it was a draw, but it felt more like a defeat. They shook the disappointment out of their system. They got a goalless draw with Brazil in the quarter-final. They won that on penalties, and then they were successful against Venezuela in another shootout. Paraguay offering so little in the first half, not helped by the injuries that they've picked up during the course of the tournament. Torres is out here. No Santa Cruz either. Such an important player for them in attack alongside Edo Valdez.
I think that's been a big loss for them. You know, he started the campaign up front. Valdez was on the bench, and him and Barrios were linking up very well. Barrios doing a lot of the running. Santa Cruz holding the play up, doing the link-up play, bringing people into play. And then when Santa Cruz gets the injury, Valdez comes in, and they're two very similar players, him and Barrios. And unfortunately, one of them had to give, and the manager selected Valdez to start today, and Barrios sits on the bench.
No Oscar Cardozo either, the striker from Benfica in Portugal. Tino, the Argentine in charge of Paraguay, saying that he didn't choose him because there are others better. Comments perhaps which he may now regret, given the injuries and given the struggle that Paraguay have had. Driven in by Forlan. Zeballos. On again by Vera. Uruguay have the throw. Valdez had a successful time in Germany with Borussia Dortmund and Werder Bremen. More recently has been playing in Spain. Regular during Paraguay's World Cup qualifying campaign. Diego Perez. And again by Forlan. Alex Pereira down inspecting his ankle. Marcos. Challenge there by Zeballos, which has gone unpunished.
It's just the land, it's awkward, I think, more than the tackle. You know, he comes down, doesn't get his hand down first, Perez. Just opens his shoulder up a little bit painful.
That was 10 years in international. He scored his first ever international goal in that 1-1 draw against Argentina. Now in Italy with Bologna after 6 seasons with Monaco. Pedro Valdez, barged aside by Diego Perez.
Just a little bit more urgency to the play now. It's almost like a American football tackle, that isn't it? Put him into touch.
Sent off, of course, for a similar challenge. Second yellow card against Argentina, and he's picked up a first half caution here, Diego Perez. Zeballos with a free kick. And again by Vera. Met by Victor Caceres. Flag is raised.
They're just trying to change the position of the ball, and he's just the half a yard. His body's just past it. The referee's assistant on the far side will put his flag up along the line. He'll look at it.
Ortigoza. Marcos. Veron. His club football now in Mexico with Pumas. And back almost by Suarez. Perez. Determined to be there first ahead of Zeballos.
He's just misread it. You know, Zeballos, his momentum's taking him into the clearance, and the ball's just followed through. It's not malicious in Lugano's point of view. You know, he's got his leg in the air, but he's completely mistimed it. Just a little bit of win from Zeballos, possibly looking for the free kick in the hope that the referee would give him something, but not in that situation.
Ortigoza, easy for Muslera. First time he's touched the ball in the second half, and it's 6.5 minutes old.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, how games go, and you don't do 1 minute, but what it is, it's a test of your character as a goalkeeper. You know, yes, you might not have saves to make and things, but your concentration levels have to be very, very high. You know, he's standing in there on his own, doing nothing. There could be something just comes his way, and he has to pull off a top-class save.
That is the mark of a top-class goalkeeper, isn't it?
Yeah.
He played magnificently for Uruguay when they drew against Argentina. Suarez. Iran just getting the ball away from Forlan. Coates. Yeah, you talk about players of the tournament. We were thinking that maybe Fernando Muslera would be our first pick as goalkeeper, closely followed by Gustav Villa, the Paraguayan.
Yeah, certainly. You know, it's been two of the better goalkeeper, should I say. But this is a bit with Suarez. If only had the left foot. We see so many top class players, don't we, have got one foot. If they can just work on their opposite foot, the weaker foot.
Well, those two work so well in tandem together. You just wonder about the value of playing Edinson Cavani, who had a magnificent season in Italy with Napoli, but who was injured in the second game, the 1-1 draw against Chile, when certainly Uruguay went at their best as they went in the opening fixture against Peru. Defensively, they were a bit shoddy then, when they allowed Guerrero to score a breakaway goal from the halfway line.
Yeah.
There seems a better balance with just Suarez and Forlan together.
Yeah, and the thing is, the manager stated he wanted to play the 4-3-3, and he was going to stick with that. Unfortunately, gets a Cavani injury. When he gets a Cavani injury, he ends up going to 4-4-2, and Uruguay haven't looked back from that part of the competition. So it would have been very interesting had Cavani been fit, and had he stuck with that 4-3-3 system, would he get the same results?
Heido Valdez! Fantastic chance. Brilliant volley by Heido Valdez, and Uruguay have survived. Well, the luck isn't with him or his teammates.
Well, it deserved the goal, didn't it? They had everything he wanted from it, you know.
Maybe that will give Paraguay a little bit of encouragement now, feeling that they can create chances and they can put pressure on this Uruguayan defence. Are they up for the fight?
No, they're up for the fight, there's no doubt about that, but it's whether their physical body and their mental strength is going to be capable of doing it, because they're chasing, they are going to be chasing the game, and as they chase the game it suits Uruguay, because Uruguay are quick on the counter-attack, because Suarez will be up on his own, Forlan can drop back into a five-man midfield, and Uruguay will make it very, very tough for them. So every chance that Paraguay get, I would say they would have to take one or two of them.
Vera tangling with Alvaro Pereira.
But this is a volley. You know, it's a hard one because it's straight at you. But he's touched it. You know, you've got to put that down again to Muslera, because when he spread his frame across, he's just got a touch onto it. He doesn't touch that, it's a goal. He's so unlucky, Valdez. Fantastic effort.
And magnificent goalkeeping again. Everybody gasped when he made that double save against to a deflected free kick from Carlos Tevez, and then was back on his feet and able to get in the way of the rebound when it came to him from Higuain. Just a fingertip, but just enough for Uruguay to keep out Nelson Heido Valdez. Pires. Pires again. This time the shot was drilled against Lugano.
Just trying to get into Lugano, but this is it. Suarez's his goal. One deflection from Perez's pass puts into Suarez's way, and then this is Forlan's magnificent strike. But we've seen him miss one very similar.
It was a woeful miss earlier in the competition, wasn't it? From a similar distance. Not quite a case of history repeating itself. Diego Perez, oh, that was nasty. Yellow for Vera.
It's not so much the tackle from Vera, because Perez does well, he gets caught, you know, he is late, but this bit here, Ortigozo yet again, you know, you kind of wonder, like, he's walking on a fine line as it is. And it's, he had one kick at the ball at Suarez earlier, and this time, unfortunately, catches Perez in the head. Am I not just saying a little bit of Eddie Gray there?
Eddie Gray, the former Scotland international. Who would you compare Oscar Tabarez with then?
Nobody's actually sprung to mind yet, I must admit.
He's got the look of a diplomat, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He did have a career as a TV analyst. He gave up on coaching for a while. Not entirely sure he's playing with a smile on his face this afternoon, Luis Suarez, but I'm sure deep down he's bursting with pride just at the moment.
He will be, you know. He'll have been thinking last night in his dreams. He'll be thinking, right, I've got to get 5 goals. I need to score 2 to be level. You know, in his dreams, then he'll have scored a hat-trick. You know, Guerrero done it yesterday for Peru, and I'm sure he was having the same dream last night.
With 5 goals in the tournament, 4 for Luis Suarez, 3 of them coming in games against Peru. The other one, the opener here against Paraguay. Ortigoza. Knocked on by Heido Valdez. Riveros. Riveros there again, but out-jumped by Lugano. Forlan. Alvaro Gonzalez. Forlan impeded by Victor Caceres.
Good referee. You know, he doesn't have to go in his pocket and pull out a card. He knows it's not a harsh tackle from Victor Caceres.
Mareikos. Hoisted forward by Coates. Forlan. Veron. The whistle is gone. Much to Veron's relief, I suspect.
Well, I think it's relief because it's very similar to one of the other goals, isn't it? You know, it just catches his foot, unfortunately, just a little bit. But it's a neck away.
Himself, yeah, I think he tripped himself.
Yeah, it was just a little clip that pushes his foot over his ankle, though, and that's why he trips himself. But no, and he's very, very unlucky.
Vera. Alvaro Pereira. Ortigoza. Zeballos. Does look as though Paraguay in the second half will push Christian Riveros further forward. Try and give Heido Valdez and Zeballos a little bit of help. Everything going through Ortigoza in the centre midfield currently. You can see that Cavani is about to come on now for Uruguay. Alvaro Pereira will make way. Veron. Ortigoza. There's a chance here for Riveros. Well, how significant could that substitution be? Because it's one which Oscar Tabarez has been thinking about for a couple of minutes. You can see that Cavani is itching to get on, and I just wonder if Alvaro Pereira has picked up an injury or maybe is feeling the effects of what's gone on in the previous hour. It was rather sluggish then to get into position to try and make a challenge, and he might be under further pressure again here.
He's certainly not the same player. You know, he's certainly down a couple of gears than the way he has been in the campaign.
Zeballos. Perez. Now there will be a chance for Uruguay to make that change, and coach Oscar Tabres, so often a picture of cool, is bellowing across now to Alvaro Pereira.
Well, that was a chance for Riveros. I mean, he's making a great run. He just doesn't make the right contact with his heel.
Just listen to the applause as well.
Well, that's just purely because the whole campaign, I think, he's been outstanding. He was very lucky to get that early blow to his face. But it's back to the system now that Tabárez wanted in the first place. You know what I mean? It's back to the 3 men up front.
Edinson Cavani comes on as Uruguay's first substitute, the first change that's been made in this final. Here he is, immediately involved. There'll be a double change imminent for Paraguay as well. Favourites coming on, Marcelo Estegariba along with Hernan Perez.
Riveros can't believe the decision goes against him. He's trying to back in. Rios doesn't move his feet, but Paraguay should have the throw in and showing his frustrations.
Not the only one either. So double change by Paraguay. Marcelo Estegariba has come on along with Hernan Perez. Victor Caceres has gone off. Caceres off along with Enrique Vera, 2 who have picked up yellow cards. How significant is that at this stage? 25 minutes to go.
No, it's very significant because they could ill afford to go down to 10 men. Vera's had a couple of tackles over on the right-hand side. We possibly could see other yellow cards coming in the future, and Caceres again down the left-hand side on the odd occasion. Tired leg will creep in there when you get yellow cards. They can't take that risk. It's a final, and they know they want to try and push for the last 25 minutes.
Will patrol down the right for Paraguay. Estegariba will probably sit tight to the left-hand touchline. It is Perez. Ortigoza. Marecos. Veron. Valdez, short of alternatives, happy to take the throw. Marecos looking for Heido Valdez. Riveros with the shot. Ortigoza following up. Again, it's with Ortigoza. Perez. Perez has done well, and that has rolled out for a corner kick. Out and back in.
Have we seen a mini revival from Paraguay now? Got the substitution, fresh legs of Perez. One in the corner now, gives him a chance to get the big central defenders both up the park.
Perez with the corner kick. Might come to Veron. In again by Perez. Out by Suarez. Estegariba. Rios holding off Marecos.
He's not the tallest player, is he, Rios, but he does a fantastic job in there. He's holding it, nothing special. You know, he's not the one that makes everything tick. He's the one that sweeps it all up, does the dirty job, as they say in football.
Valdez, who's come so close to pulling a goal back for Paraguay. Magnificent volley, which was tipped away by Fernando Muslera. Uruguay establishing a 2-goal lead by half-time with goals from Luis Suarez and Diego Forlan.
Interesting to see that one again. Just wonder if Suarez was offside, because the referee's assistant followed the ball.
Perez. Perez again. Orta goes up. Perez has won the header. Perez. Well, there was a push there by Coates. Decision has gone the way of Uruguay. Zabala's told to get to his feet.
Just watch when it comes into his feet, Zabala's. No, there's a little nudge there. I remember one in 1998, very similar like that, and I got a penalty kick for it.
At least you brought it up this time. Opening game of the World Cup, 1998. Brazil against Scotland.
Yeah, so I'm in favour of Zabala's here. I think it's a penalty kick.
It's going to be a substitution now for Uruguay. Diego Perez going off to warm applause. Sebastian Eguren will come on in his place.
Just a straight swap, isn't it? He's tiring now. He's come back from suspension, trying to get into the pace of the game. It's been a very, very fast game for him in the midfield area. Got that other yellow card again, so it's Eguren getting a nice little run out.
Fifth time that he's featured as a substitute. Yeah, not doing Perez too many favours with that little pass. I wonder if Adrien Correa is enjoying having his afternoon of fame in the technical area, given the problems that Paraguay have had. Leonardo Martino, the coach, picking up a 2-game suspension. His assistant suspended from the bench from this game as well.
I think he'll enjoy it because there's less pressure on him as he's an assistant to the manager. He can only relate what he can see at that time. But I'm sure they'll have a little mobile phone sitting there somewhere, getting instructions to him, passed on from the manager.
Uruguay supporters turning this part of Buenos Aires into a little bit of home. It's almost like being in Montevideo. In by Forlan. You look at the numbers game, it is remarkable that these two teams have got through to the final and have consistently in recent times been able to produce so many good players, with Uruguay's population, what, around 7 million, and Paraguay's similar. Certainly not the biggest countries in South America in terms of population, and if not in overall area.
It just shows you size doesn't matter.
Perez played in the Europa League for Villarreal when the European season just ended. Keen to make an impression, as he did in the other game that he came on as a substitute in. Featured off the bench against Brazil in the quarter-final.
Yeah, he's been busy again. Well, it's just the weight of the pass. He sees a run from Valdez. It's a great spot. It's a great run from Valdez, but just the pace of the ball.
Gerardo Martino, the Argentine in charge of Paraguay, said earlier in the tournament that he thought his team were playing as well as they did at the World Cup finals. They went out in the quarterfinals to Spain, having won a penalty shootout, surprise, surprise, against Japan in the round of the last 16.
Yeah, they're playing that many penalty shootouts, they're getting used to them now. They do well in them. Which just surprised me, because the way they played in the earlier game against Brazil and the attacking qualities that Paraguay showed, they just, after that game, they just went into reverse and then decided to go as a counter-attacking side, and not a very exciting team at that point, and kind of changed it all. Whereas, to be fair, one or two of the players were, I mean, I liked the way that they played, and then all of a sudden it changed. Form went out the window.
Cavani left the ball behind. What a wonderful save by Vila. Did brilliantly then to keep out Egeran. Well, he has been one of the goalkeepers of the tournament. The 34-year-old featuring for the 95th time for Paraguay.
Yeah, it was a miscue from Cavani as well, but again, you know, we've seen it with the goal, he was wrong-footed, but this time he manages, you know, 34 years of old and being this agile. I mean, that is a top-class save.
Excellent goalkeeping by Justo Vila. In by Forlan. Missed by Coates, picked up by Rios. Helped away by Pires. Suarez. Firm challenge by De Silva. And then by Veron.
Veron had to be sure. But again, I mean, Maxi Pereira doesn't give up the ghost of the tackle, and Suarez, a great tackle by De Silva, but Maxi Pereira here, he's trying to suck the players in for a tackle. Veron had to be very careful, had to be spot on with it. But again, it's another ounce of pressure, top of Paraguay defensively. Uruguay adding Cavani in the air as well now, so there's another big player in there to contend with, and they've already struggled in the first half with a lot of corners.
Killed in by Forlan. Forlan once more. Alvaro Gonzalez. Suarez was bundled over then. Pires. Won back by Forlan. So impressive, but what about this one?
You just see the ball going in the air here, Suarez. There you go. If ever you've seen a deliberate push out the way, that is one. Riveros could really think he's so lucky there, because if the referee's brave enough, he'll give a penalty kick.
So Zaballos is being replaced by Lucas Barrios, who was overlooked for the start of this one. Striker with the German champions. 19 on his shirt, 19 goals in each of his last two seasons in the Bundesliga with Borussia Dortmund. Suarez helped away from Forlan. Estigariba. Trying to put a bit of pressure on. I wonder if they'll give him a chance. El Loco. Abreu. Sebastian Abreu, the 34-year-old playing for Botafogo now in Brazil. Featured like Diego Forlan at the World Cup in 2002 and 2010. This surely will be his last big tournament. First played in the Copa back in 1997. Rios. Ortegoza. Da Silva. Pires. Edo Valdez. 3 to pick out inside the penalty area. One of them was Estegariba. Moreos. Wild in the end from the fullback.
There's two sides of good defending. One good and one bad from Cavani. He gets up there, defensive header, gets it out and cleared. And there's the bad side. You know he's got a chance to get a tackle and clear his lines. But instead, just walks out the way of it, lets Maracos have the shot. He's lucky for Cavani it doesn't fly in the back of the net, because his teammates would have surely had a word in his ear for jumping out of that tackle.
Edo Valdez. Estegariba. Zaguero took the sting out of the cross, and Diego Lugano flicked it behind for a corner kick. A little over 10 minutes remaining. Nearly came to Maracos again. It's a mistimed header by Veron. Now there might be problems for Paraguay. Cavani picked out there by Alvaro Gonzalez. Cavani goes on and is dragged down, is he? No, referee says carry on. It's a lung-bursting chase for Hernan Perez, but he got there. Ortigoza. Maracos again encouraged to get forward. Estegariba to provide the width, but not the cross that Perez was looking for anyway. Perez. Ortigoza. Martin Caceres there just indicating to his teammates, let's just keep a lid on this now.
It can be very dangerous. You know, you sit back, you let Paraguay come at you, try and catch them in the counter-attack. If you lose one goal, Paraguay are right back in the game.
It's almost an opening for Barrios.
This is a Cavani incident. It was a great ball. His first touch is not the greatest. Does he go down in the box? Is it a dive? He's made the most of it, hasn't he? He was trying for that. Got to see that's great play from Perez. Forward back there doing defensive duties.
Now stretching out to try and get beyond Caceres. I'm sure that Gerardo Martino, the Paraguayan coach, will take some positives out of this final. That isn't him, of course. Way in which Perez has come into the team, and even Perez in the couple of appearances he's had as a substitute. He's done well previously in the South American Under-20 Championships. The coach and players know now that time is running out for Paraguay. Barrios. Edo Valdez. Straightforward enough from Muslera.
Well, it's a good effort. You know, it's a good little link up him and Barrios, but it's a great little bit of skill. Flick over his shoulder and a volley, but just never caught it right. Just catches it on his toe. There's promising signs at the moment for Paraguay. You know, Uruguay, I think, taking the foot off the gas, feeling the pressure a little bit. Uruguay have got the second win now.
Pires. Edo Valdez. Losing out in the exchange with Martin Caceres.
I think it's just the end of the little barge at the end he gets frustrated with, isn't it? he knows that he's angry with himself, not with the referee.
Barrios gives chase, and he's pulled up. That's a hamstring. Lucas Barrios goes down clutching his left hamstring. And Paraguay, having made a double change, having brought on Lucas Barrios as another replacement, may well finish with 10 on the pitch.
Well, we thought they'd take the 2 wide players off in case they get yellow cards, get second yellow cards, and they'd finish the game with 10 men. Now the unfortunate thing is the substitutes come on, and it looks like his hamstring's gone. So now this is where it goes now. I mean, this is where your captain earns his corn. You know, he's there having a word with the players. They're all together. He says, look, now this is our bigger opportunity, our biggest opportunity now. They're down to 10 men. We have to keep it. Everybody switched on. Everybody has to be tight, double up everywhere, and get your jobs done.
Well, if there was a problem with the hamstring before the game, and that was the reason why Lucas Barrios wasn't risked by Paraguay, we know just why he was left out, given that they're already short of Roque Santa Cruz. It was such a strange decision, wasn't it, to leave him on the bench?
It was a strange decision, but you know, he's been working hard for the team in the games that he's been playing. Now, he just played 2 games with extra time, and the amount of running about that he does up front, it does tire you out. So the manager maybe said, well, look, this game I might give you a little bit of a rest, see how it is. But in those circumstances, sometimes it backfires, as it has done. You put him on from a substitute thinking he might be able to help you, and unfortunately the hamstring goes, it backfires.
Yellow card for Coates.
Well, we just need Lugano on a yellow card and we've got a full house of the back 4.
He has been impressive during the course of the tournament, given the problems that Uruguay have had in the centre of their defence. Diego Godin affected by illness and injury. Scotty not risked, so he did do well after Perez had been sent off against Argentina. Ortigoza with a free kick. Helped away by Rios. Victorino, let's not forget, was forced off in the first half against Argentina, the central defender who had come in alongside Diego Lugano because Coates was suspended.
Yeah, but you can tell, around the world there's a lot of leagues just starting pre-season and things, and here with the Copa America, the players will still be a little bit fatigued, need a little bit of a rest as well. A lot of it will come into it because the last 2 or 3 games from the quarter-finals, they have been very, very tough. The extra time games, putting that little bit extra in. The managers have been asking a lot of the players, and unfortunately have developed a lot of injuries.
Celebrate a 15th win in the Copa America. Gives them 1 more than the hosts here, Argentina. First ever winners of the tournament way back in 1916, a tournament that was played in Argentina. De Silva. Ortigoza. Perez with support from Perez. Here he can complain about the pitch.
Certainly not like La Plata, is it?
Big club story of the year in Argentina, the fact that River Plate will be playing in the 2nd division when the domestic league resumes, relegated after 102 years.
That was a shock to everybody, wasn't it?
Perez with a cross, eased away by Maxi Pereira. Still got too much strength for Marcelo Estigariba.
been absolutely fantastic this campaign, Maxi Pereira. You know, his energy levels are so high. Just adds that extra bit of something down that right-hand side for Uruguay.
Isn't the Abreu who comes on? It will be the luckless Diego Godin, defender with Atletico Madrid at his third Copa, doubtful with injury ahead of the tournament, and then ill after the tournament started. What a tonic this will be to get a couple of minutes in the final.
You'll just be happy he's got on. You come to a competition like this, you want to make at least one appearance.
In again by Estegariba, helped away by Lugano. Perez. Alvaro Gonzalez. Cavani. Suarez. Forlan. A second for Diego Forlan. A third for Uruguay. And nobody deserves it more. Total joy. And a nation can celebrate.
Well, if you're going to go out in glory, the best way to do it. Paraguay pushing most of the players forward, get caught on the counter-attack. And it's this little cushion header from Suarez. You know, it's the timing of it. If he takes a touch, Forlan's offside, he doesn't. He sees him right away. It's a fantastic little cushion header. And Diego Forlan, who's worked his socks off up until this game and not scored the goal, ends up with two fantastic finishes.
Good things come to those that wait. And Diego Forlan has waited until the final to find his scoring touch. 2 goals.
Well, there'll certainly be a few happy people this evening, won't there?
Just the 1 extra minute for Paraguay to endure. It simply hasn't been their afternoon. It has been Uruguay's tournament. Uruguay are winners of the Copa America 2011. A crescendo of noise. And no wonder one or two are in tears, the likes of Diego Lugano and Diego Forlan. The disappointment of missing out in the World Cup in 2010. The disappointment of missing out on a final appearance 4 years ago. They drew with Brazil, they lost a penalty shootout then. Lugano and Forlan both missed in that shootout. And Oscar Tabarez, El Maestro, has done it at last. Uruguay are champions of South America.
A nation celebrates, and it's a record 15th title for Uruguay in a stunning night in Buenos Aires. Paraguay were a mere shadow of their neighbours, and Uruguay lift the 15th Copa title. Craig Foster and David Zrulich are with me. And guys, that was just, you know, that final goal really summed up the way Uruguay approached this final.
It did, and it sums up them as a football nation. They are an extraordinary group of players. This Tabarez has been absolutely brilliant. The last 12 months has been back to the glory years in many respects. They haven't won this competition since 1995. They've rediscovered and refound the glory, but they are one nation in the world of football who are simply amazing. Paraguay in the second half, I have to say, had a really fantastic half, and they had to push, they had to try and get 2 goals, but they did very well, and they really should have scored at least 1. but they were never going to win the game, because when Uruguay are up 2-0, all of South America knows, and psychologically so too do the Paraguayan players on the field, that when Uruguay have the lead, whether it's 1, 2 or more, they are extremely difficult to beat, because the mental strength of this nation is something amazing.
Just a reflection of the joy for the players. Zrilla, you know, Diego Forlan's been the assist king before this match, hadn't scored in the tournament. What a sparkling display by him.
What a time to get a couple of goals, but I think his contribution has been there, and as any striker would know, you're judged on your goals, but certainly his contribution during the tournament with his set-up play, set pieces, just his involvement in creativity. And you can see the scenes. There's just such a tight unit. This team knows how to win. They know how to. They wouldn't have so many titles. A new record for them, 15th time they've won the Copa. And when you're talking about teams like Brazil and Argentina with all their quality, it's Uruguay with 3.5 million that have the most titles in the Copa America. It's just, we've said it so many times, but it's quite amazing. And when you have a look at the way that they play, and Foz has stressed it quite a number of times, they know what needs to be done. Even though Paraguay came out and they were pressuring, you never really had the feeling that Uruguay were going to let it go. I know there was a few chances there, but they just always seem to know exactly what line they can, or how far they can go, and it's just amazing to watch them. I can't give them enough credit, and it's great to see that in a tournament where a lot of the favourites weren't able to produce their best, that a team like Uruguay, after such a good performance in the World Cup, have now backed it up with the Copa, and the coach Tabarez again just has made the right decisions. I think the game against Argentina was the one game where you really said he earned his money, and he came out, and when they went down to 10 men in the second half, he out-coached Argentina and was able to get the result. So I think he fully deserved.
And you talk Paraguay had the endeavour in the second half, Drilla, but just perhaps not the quality in the end.
Well, the damage was done in the first half. So if you allow a team like Uruguay to have even a goal lead, it's always going to be difficult. But 2 goals up at half-time, playing the way they were, it was almost impossible. Yes, they had their chance to get a goal back, and may have been differently, but it just wasn't enough. And on the balance of the whole tournament, Uruguay have been one of the most consistent. They started slow, as did Brazil and Argentina, but as they got into the group phases, they certainly did enough against, a great result against Argentina in trying circumstances, and then getting through to the final, and now very convincingly.
This is Paraguay's runners-up medals, and the 6th time they've finished runners-up in the Copa America, twice champions of 53 and 1979. There is Justo Villa, the star goalkeeper for them. So overall, a very good performance by Paraguay when you consider their passage to the final.
One sour note is if Barrios has done his hamstring, which it looks like Dortmund, the German Bundesliga, is about to start, so he'd be missing for, I'd say, at least 3 weeks there. That's going to be very disappointing for them. We saw with Cavani the pressure that Napoli were putting on him not to play, and we actually saw him pull out of one of the challenges there, which was quite interesting. But Dortmund are definitely not going to be happy, because he had a fantastic season for them last year.
And you know, credit to Paraguay. Okay, they had 5 draws all the way. First, I think, to get through to the final, to do so without winning a game. However, they were under strength throughout this tournament as well. And Uruguay have come in with a full complement. You know, just take Suarez out of that team, and you're pushing to do what they've achieved. You need to have your best players to go through, you know, 6 really high-level games. And for Oscar Cardozo, who is a very fine player, as well as Roque Santa Cruz out, that makes it extremely difficult. And that was one of the differences, only one of them, but the fact that Paraguay came, they really limped into the final. And it was one game too much. They had their coaches in the stand, they had people injured, they had their key players not available. And even so, I'll give them a lot of credit. In that second half, they really pushed. They played some fantastic football in the second half. And sitting at half-time, I wasn't really sure. You couldn't really see where they were going to get it from. But they pushed, and they should really have had at least one finish on one of those really good crosses. They had one at the near post, which was just a free situation where all they had to do was just get a little touch on it and it was a goal. But for Uruguay, look, they are a nation who has the utmost respect of everyone in the football world, and everyone knows very well that whenever Uruguay play a football match, they come to play.
There's the Copa trophy. Let's now cross back to our commentators Tony Jones and Kevin Gallagher to take us through the proceedings.
Señoras, señores, en instantes, los integrantes
Well,
de
he's
la
taking a tumble.
selección uruguaya
Mr.
de
Villa didn't
fútbol
take his eye off the trophy.
recibirán su
He's got his
premio
gloves
como
on, he was no way he was going to
campeones.
drop that.
Pero antes, la Confederación Sudamericana de Fútbol, en la opinión de distinguidos periodistas de nuestro continente, ha establecido premios de las empresas patrocinadoras
So the floor
de la
manager
Copa
of the
América
head of that line, just organising Uruguay,
2011.
just making sure that they step forward at the right
En ese
moment and
sentido,
take their bow on cue. Messages to send home as well.
en ese sentido, debemos destacar que
Sure that the
mediante
entire
la
nation has
opinión
been
de periodistas
watching this up and
sudamericanos,
down Uruguay.
recibe el premio al mejor jugador joven de esta Copa por la empresa Claro. El jugador Cuates de la selección uruguaya.
An award for Sebastian Coates as well, young player of the tournament.
Gerardo Muñoz de Claro, Chile hace entrega de esta premiación. Asimismo, la empresa NAI tiene previsto
It's not a bad start to your international career, is it?
a las
Player of the
figuras
tournament.
relevantes de esta competición
Now at the age of 20, the defender with the
Mejor
Nacional, the
portero.
champions in Uruguay.
de la Copa América Argentina 2011. Justo Villar de Paraguay.
And the goalkeeper of the tournament, Justo Villa of Paraguay. And the reaction of the Uruguayan supporters tells you that they consider that Fernando Muslera was goalkeeper of the tournament. Tough call, really.
Very tough call. You know, it was a close call between both men, you know, and I think just the fact is that Muslera had the least saves to make because defensive in front of him done very well.
2011. Guerrero de Perú.
And the top goal scorer,
El señor Francisco Luzón.
Paulo Guerrero
de Santander,
of Peru, who finished with 5 goals, having scored 3 against Venezuela in the third place fixture on Saturday.
También premiarán
As they say,
el
on
premio
these
lo recibe
occasions,
el presidente
Paulo Guerrero,
de la
I don't think
Federación
is here to
Peruana
receive
de
his
Fútbol,
award.
Doctor Manuel Burga Seoane.
Imagine getting that through hand baggage.
Try and explain that one.
Se viene el mejor jugador de la Copa América Argentina 2011. Copa LG. Luis
And the player of the
Suárez
tournament?
de Uruguay.
The biggest cheer so far, it is Luis Suarez of Uruguay.
Congratulaciones. Excelente jugador. Honrando la tradición uruguaya.
I think you'd probably give him 10 out of 10 for effort, but maybe not quite the best overall.
No, I mean, I think when you score the goals that he scored and he's done what he's done, I think you've got to look at the help of his fellow forward.
Continuación,
You know, there's no doubt about it. You know, I mean, it's a team game, and he'll look at Diego Forlan for what the work that he does, creates the spaces for Suarez to get in there and score the
la
goals,
Copa
and vice
Fair
versa.
Play, ganada por la selección uruguaya de fútbol.
And Uruguay, Sebastian Coates, young player of the tournament, Luis Suarez, player of the tournament, and they've won the Fair Play award.
Saludamos a los campeones de América. Washington Abreu, Egidio
So here come
Arevalo
the
Ríos,
players.
José Cáceres Silva,
El Loco, Sebastian Abreu.
José Guillermo Castillo Iriarte, Edison Roberto
They're being announced to
Cavani,
the crowd at the moment as the match officials get their awards.
Sebastián Eguren, Diego Forlán,
Salvio Fagundes of Brazil, our match referee, assisted by Marcio Santiago, and the two from Chile, Francisco Mondrier and Enrique Oces.
Abel Hernández, Marcelo Lodeiro,
Muslera first through, followed by Victorino, who's injured in the first half of that quarter-final against Argentina. Rios, who made a key contribution. Coates as well,
Victorio Pereira Páez,
young player of the tournament.
Diego Pérez, Cristian Rodríguez Barrotti,
I think the officials are just telling him to keep their hands off it.
Scotti, Martín Silva, Luis Alberto Suárez,
Diego Perez there. Scored in that game against Argentina, was then sent off.
Bernardo Victorino,
Those who've been on the periphery as well, the likes of Walter Gargano,
la Asociación Uruguaya
who
de
featured
Fútbol,
against Argentina, who started the semi-final against Peru. Luis Suarez, 4 goals, 2 in the semi-final against Peru, 1 in the final against Paraguay. Scotty's gone through, the 35-year-old.
Y ahora campeón de América.
Diego Forlán. And now Oscar Tabarez.
A su director técnico, señor Oscar Washington Tavares.
Second spell in charge in 2006. Runner-up in the Copa in 1989 in his first spell in charge.
Las grandes
Beaten
hazañas
semi-finalists
del
4 years
fútbol
ago.
sudamericano tiene un origen, la República Oriental del Uruguay.
Uruguay announced as champions of South America for a record 15th time.
Sudamericano y mundial. Felicidades, Uruguay.
The crowd has won now, singing Uruguay.
La Copa América Argentina 2011
And now, eventually,
tuvo en la vida
Diego
a
Lugano
5.000 millones de
has
personas en el
the
mundo.
trophy
Ahora
in his hands.
se entrega la mítica Copa América al capitán Lugano de la selección celeste charrúa. Felicidades.
Uruguay can celebrate. Winners of the Copa America for a record 15th time and champions in 2011.
Gracias Argentina. Nos espera Brasil 2015. Hasta siempre.
Massive celebrations in Buenos Aires, as we heard before, a very big Uruguayan population in the Argentine capital, and it is a fantastic celebration of what was a marvellous display in the final by Uruguay. Just summing up the thoughts of the tournament with Craig Foster and David Zrilic. And Zrilic, you know, overall, Uruguay champions, but how did you see the Copa tournament in its entirety?
Well, I think, you know, it's a great story what's happened with Uruguay, but I think it's been disappointing having the likes of Brazil and Argentina not play to their potential. I think they started very slow, and so from that point of view, I thought, you know, it could obviously be better. A lot of the games were drawn and went into extra time, that's fine. But I think Uruguay is the team that stood out, and for good reason. You can't take anything away from them. They produced some fine displays. They got better as the tournament went on. They've won 2 Olympic Games, 2 World Cups, 15 now. The record